What's going on, everybody out there in YouTube land? It's been a while since I did a video. I actually haven't done any videos since 2020, I don't think. I kind of got out of doing videos and messing with my YouTube channel when COVID outbreak occurred. I never stopped collecting cards though, and I've recently decided to get back into doing videos and sharing things I pick up with you guys. This right here is two pickups. This is everything I got in the mail today. First, I'll do this TTM. I got a TTM back from former Major League Relief pitcher Mike Garman. This is a 1978 Topps. I know you can see that crease in it's badly creased. This was a card actually I picked up in a lot I bought about a year ago. I picked up a big box of 1978 Topps cards. Some of them, they were all pretty much like this. That no, this was one of the worst cards, I should say, but they were in very good to poor condition. Most of them were in very good condition. Some were poor like this with a crease or something, dinged corners, stuff like that. But I was going to write to him. This is like card number 177 that I've had autographed for the 1979 top set. And I wanted to get Garmin to sign this one, and I had this card, and even though it was creased, I decided to send it on. I've already got one like this for the 78 set signed by him from 3 or 4 years ago. That's in my 78 set. I went ahead and put this card in a top load because I've got my 78 autographs in a box, all in sleeves and top loads. So I went ahead and sleeved that one up and got it on top load. This one I put in a sleeve for now. It will go into a binder of 1978 autograph cards I have. Uh, Counting duplicates, I've got about 280 1978 Topps cards signed by former players. So anyway, that was my TTM day, and then I picked up this. I got this in the mail today. This was a purchase of a lot, complete your set lot. There's a lot of these on eBay, and I picked this one up from a guy that I bought a lot of cards from. I blacked out. I don't know if you can see this because it's kind of faded. I blacked out my address and Rick's address. He's the seller, Rick Hogg. But it was a complete your set of 1989 through 1999 Topps baseball cards. A lot of 100. All right. And what it normally Rick, or I should say Hawks cards, if you're looking to complete sets, if you're a set builder that's looking to complete sets, I would suggest looking up Hawks cards on eBay. He is one of the cheaper ones. He sells 50 card lots usually. I actually have bought a lot of cards that I have used for TTMs over the years from him, and so I messaged him about a week ago. I asked him if I pick out 100 cards, will you combine shipping? And what I love about Rick is he will take and he doesn't try to make money on shipping. It was a dollar and 49 cent for any 50 cards. He's got them listed on the listing. You can the numbers he has for each different set. You pick out the cards you want. You message him a list of the card numbers that you want, and then he will, ship them out to you. The listing is $4.49 shipping and $1.49 for 50 cards, and he's got listings for sets older than these. He's got listings for sets newer than these, like all the way up to modern 2022 cards. And now not all of them are for 50 cards, but some are for 50s. The older ones might be for 20. It varies. But anyway, he's a really good dealer. I've purchased multiple items from him in the past. Never had a problem with him. Rick wrote me a thank you note. Says, thank you, my friend. Merry Christmas. Thank you, Rick. I'm really pleased with this lot. And so I'm known as, I consider myself a collector first, an investor second, and a dealer third. And that's the way I've been since I was basically 18 years old when I finally started getting into reselling and buying a lot of collections in those days. So anyway, in this lot, I've got some of all three of those avenues. Uh, Cards for my PC, cards for investment purposes, and cards for resale purposes. Okay, and first, I will tell you, most of the cards in this lot are I acquired specifically for TTM autographs, to acquire autographs. But I was really pleased with this lot because one thing I love about Rick is when he lists cards that he has picked up, and he lists them in these lots like this with the card numbers. He just lists the number in the list. Like you might look up 1992 tops and it's going to have the numbers. Well, this number was on the list. I was surprised. This is Jim Tomei's first tops card, I believe. Indians, and I live just outside of Cleveland, Northeast Ohio, in Youngstown, and this is Jim Tomei. When he was really young, Jim Tomei's a Hall of Famer, of course, big time power hitter. I immediately, when I was thrilled to get this in this slot, this will go in my PC, in my Indians collection. And it's not the first one I've got by far like this. I've got several of this card, but this is one of my favorite cards of Jim Tomei. And it's not Topps Gold or anything, but still, I was really happy to get that. And anyway, for this entire lot, I paid, it was a combined price of $2.98, which was $1.49 twice for each 50 card lot. And Rick adjusted the shipping for me. The shipping was like, he combined it so it was, I didn't have to pay $4.49 two different times for shipping. It was like five something for the shipping. Altogether, I bought this 100 card lot for, it was $9.06. Now, to some people that might be watching, you might be saying, well, it's just a bunch of junk air cards. But when I explain to you what I'm doing with this lot, you'll understand why. To me, this is a great deal. I basically got 9 cents in each card. This Jim Tomei card to me is worth well more than 9 cents to add to, be another addition to my PC. All right, Rick had a bunch of Topps Gold cards, list numbers listed with other cards for the 93 and the 92 set. I cleaned him out of the Topps Gold cards he had listed on this particular listing. And the reason I did, this is the investor part of me, okay? Topps, when they started making Topps Gold cards, I think 91 was when they first started inserting these. That is an Aaron Seal draft pick card, by the way, rookie card. Aaron Seal was a pretty good pitcher at one time. But anyway, these Topps Gold cards were only inserted one gold card per pack. So if you were putting together a complete set in those days of cards, it was a lot harder to try to put together a complete set of Topps Gold than it was to put together a standard base set of Topps from that year. So the investor side of me has always, whenever I can find Topps Gold cards really cheap, I will pick them up. I've got several 800 card boxes that I've labeled on the outside, the year, Topps Gold, and I just keep them all that I come across, because I know that there is people out there right now that collect these or that are looking to build sets of these. This is a set here, 1992 Topps and 1993 Topps. We're in 2022. This is a 30-year-old set. Can you imagine how hard, if it's as hard, they were only one per pack. Okay, and yes, they mass produced cards in 1992, but if they only put one of these per pack, they're nowhere near as mass produced as the standard. And then you think about how many people over the last decade have threw away a lot of cards from this time range because they were considered to have no resale value at all. Because I remember seeing YouTube videos out there that you could still find of people throwing away boxes of uh, early 90s, late 80s, junk wax era cards. Well, these right here, in another 20 years, you're going to have collectors out there that are trying to put together complete sets of these, and the value of the gold are going to skyrocket. That's the investor side of me. I put these up, and if I don't live, I'm middle aged now, so if I don't live long enough to see the day that I sell these, and really, make a really good profit, someone in my family will. But this is the investor side of me that puts back stuff and invests in lots. All right, now you've got the stars. Now he also lists stars in his lots, and I got all these guys. These are either Hall of Famers or um, really big stars of the time. Mike Mussina, Don Mattingly, Barry Bonds. That's before he bulked up in the days of his steroid days. That was when he was truly the best player in the game based on just God-given athletic ability alone. Tom Glavine All-Star card, Mike Mussina again, George Brett. I already sleeved these, Greg Maddux, Kirby Puckett. There's a couple. This is AL RBI leader Kirby Puckett from, I think that was from more like 95, 94 tops. Wade Boggs, Ryan Sandberg All Star card, another Greg Maddux, Ricky Henderson, Barry Bonds, George Brett, and anytime you can find Nolan Ryan cards for less than a dime a piece, you better grab them. Nolan Ryan is always a great guy to invest in his cards if you can get them dirt cheap, because there is a million collectors out there, Ryan. You never can go wrong with investing and putting up cards of him. Same thing with Cal Ripken Jr. That's a tops 88 tops All Star glossy that were inserted into rack packs, one per rack pack. Barry Bonds again, Pete Rose. Again, Pete Rose is not in the hall, but he's a guy that has a huge following. A lot of collectors collect his cards. Ken Griffey Jr., 1992 tops. That was in his younger days. And another Cal Ripken Jr., 92 tops. And all these I got in this 100 card lot. Now, what I'm going to do with these, you say, well, none of those cards, even though they're Hall of Famers, are worth that much. No, they're not. But this is what I do, just to give you an example. I've got 3,000 count, I mean, well, what, 3,200 count and 5,000 count boxes full of these. I take 20 cards of a player. Now, this particular one is all 1985 tops George Brett cards. I write down on I cut out a piece of an index card right on the front what it is that I'm putting in this team bag. There's 20. That this one actually has got about 25. 1985 tops George Brett's, and I label them. I seal the team bag, and I put them in a 5,000 count box, put them in a closet on a shelf, or put them in the attic and store them for investment purposes down the line. The older these get, the more they're going to be worth one day, and that's how I look at it. That's how I say I'm a collector, investor, and dealer. Now here's Cal Ripken, and here's, I think all these are Cal Ripken here. Well, Cal Ripken Jr.'s. This right here is actually, I got Yankee autographs through the mail, Yankee cards. There, you can never go wrong with autographed Yankee cards. There's so many Yankee fans out there. But anyway, all of these, I put about 20 cards, 20 to 25 cards, depending on thickness of a player, into a team bag. I write on I write on the outside of just a little piece of index card to write down who's in the team bag, and that they're all means that every card in here is Cal Ripken. These are all, none of these cards are worth that much right now. They're all from the 80s or early 90s, but over time, who knows? So, they add up. They're good investment. There's always going to be people collecting cards of these guys. And so down the road, I figure when I can get a card of these guys for less than a dime a piece, put them up for investment purposes down the line, I should be able to either trade them for something I want from my own personal PC, or sell them and make some good money in time. All right, and then the main part of this lot is my TTM autograph cards. Now, a lot of you are going to say, well, if you're a dealer, and yes, over the course of my life, I have bought and resold and flipped many a card collection. And I'm always looking to buy and sell lots. I've bought more cards in my lifetime and sold more cards in my lifetime. But what happens when I'm doing TTMs is, if you're buying box lots of cards, and the reason I'm showing you this lot is so it'll help you if you're wanting to get into TTMs, or you're wanting to figure out how I can get cards to do TTM, like these, without getting a ton of cards that I don't want sitting around my house. Then these kind of lots are the way to do it. And see, every card in this lot is a card of a guy that I plan on writing to in the next over the course of the next few months, and trying to get to sign these cards. And they're all great signers. Now, if you're new to the hobby and you don't know where you can get addresses of players that do like to sign through the mail, I suggest you. There is some sites that a lot of people will argue in the comments and say, no, use this site or that site. But if you're new, with the economy the way it is, and people don't have a lot of money right now due to inflation, if you're just looking to get started and you just want a few addresses to start with to see if you're going to like, collecting autographs through the mail, I suggest SCF. It's Sports Collectors Forum. It's free to create an account there. You can get autographs through the mail, addresses there for football, basketball, baseball, about every major sport, even celebrities that sign through the mail. And It's a free site. It doesn't cost anything to create an account. It takes you about 5 minutes to create an account, and you can get addresses for free. You can see recent success rates. I use it, and every time I get a TTM, like I got this one today, I update my success so that other people can see that I recently wrote to him on whatever date that I mailed it out, what date I got it back, and the return time, all that. So anyway, I won't go through every one of these. Really, we spend a lot of time on this, but these are the cards that I got. All these guys are great signers. All these guys, you can get their addresses off SCF, and it won't cost you anything. And if you're in the hobby, if you start out in the TTM hobby and you really enjoy it, then after you enjoy it, if you want to, you can pay for some of these sites that um, that cost a membership fee, but they also have their little perks as well that SCF doesn't have. So anyway, I'm an Indians fan, as you all know. So Indians are a big with me when it comes to TTMs. So I pick anytime I can get cards of guys and with the Indians that play with the Indians, and I can get them for cheap prices that I know signed through the mail. I'll pick them up. Deion James, Rich Yet, 90 Tops, Gary Wayne, former relief pitcher for the Twins, very good TTMer, Walt Terrell with the Tigers, Walt Terrell here with the Yankees, and I always pick up any Yankees on the dirt cheap range that are good TTM signers, mainly because it's very easy to resell autographed Yankee cards. There's so many Yankee fans out there. Here's another Yankee, Lee Guterman, three of his different of his Topps cards. Jim Poole, former Orioles and Dodgers relief pitcher. Another former Indian, Mark Lewis, that's his draft pick card, and a 92 Topps card. He is a very good signer. He lives here in Ohio as well, so he's usually for me whenever I do every 3 or 4 months decide to write to him. He's a very quick returner. Pat Combs, former Philly pitcher, very good signer. Terry Leach, better known for his Mets days, is a very good signer by the mail. All of these guys are Steve Trout, Tim Burtsis with the Cincinnati Reds. Reds are also a team in Ohio, though I'm not a big Reds fan. They are another Ohio team, Brad Moore. Because of that, it's very easy for me living in Ohio to trade and sell autographed Reds memorabilia. Scotty Bales. That Scotty Bales, I'm gonna be honest with you, he is such a great signer. Since 2012, I have in my PC, I've got over 50 cards of him that have been autographed by him, and so I'm always picking up Scotty Bales cards. Ron Tingley, Ron Kittle. As you can see, the Indians theme. I'm always picking up Indians. Frank Tanano, one of my favorites to write to. He is a very good TTMer. Frank DePino here. Sorry, I got out of focus here or something, but Frank DePino there is a very good signer as well. And He was a very good relief pitcher for a long time. Sorry, I was trying to get my camera to refocus. Brad Kaminsky, Steve Davis, more Indians there. Daryl Evans, this is a guy that I love to write to every once in a while and request his autograph on some cards. This guy was a great player, an all-star with the Giants, the Tigers, the Braves. He had a long career. He played for the Braves in the 70s and in the early 70s and again in 1989 at the end of his career. But Evans has over 400 career home runs. He was on the 1984 Detroit Tigers World Championship team. And it very easily could be possible that the Veterans Committee votes this guy into the Hall of Fame one day. I mean, he put up some great numbers throughout his career. He had over 1,300 RBIs in his career. Just a great player. Ed Vandenberg, another former Indian, although this was him pictured with the Rangers. He's a good TTMer. Sherman Corbett. I love to get cards like this autographed. Steve Searcy, a former elite prospect in the late 80s that never panned out in the majors, but this is a rookie card of his, and it's got that future star up there at the top. I can just picture him signing this with a blue Sharpie down at the bottom. It would be a really nice card to get signed. Jay Bale, another Indian. Mark Grant, um, Bill Landrum, Derek Williquist, another Indian. Bob Patterson. If you're somebody again that is thinking about getting into TTM, all these guys that you're seeing cards of me holding up here from the junk era are great TTM signers. Joe Oliver, who played for the Cincinnati Reds for a long time, very popular here in Ohio. Picked up a couple of his cards to send to him. This is a Eddie Talvinci. This was his rookie with the Indians before he got traded for Kenny Lofton, which Although Talbensi had a solid career as a good hitting part-time catcher, uh, Kenny Lofton was a heck of a lot better for the Tribe. I can tell you that. Bill Kruger, another good TTMer, another Indian. Charles Nagy, a great pitcher for a lot of years for the Indians, great TTMer. This is a card I've already got one actually signed by Doug Drabeck. I think he signed it about 5 years ago for me on this same card, All Star card from 91 Tops. It's such a nice card, and I haven't wrote to Drabeck in about 2 years. I thought I would write to him again sometime soon, and that would be a good one to get signed. All right, Scott Terry, former relief pitcher for the Reds and the Cardinals. Tim McIntosh. This card actually has a crease in the top of it, which I don't like, but I picked this up because he's a really good signer. He's another former elite prospect who never panned out with the Brewers, but this is a future star card, and picked it up. Most of these cards, though, other than that one, are pretty great shape, great condition. Couldn't ask for better unless they were men out of the box. Jesse Orosco, former great relief pitcher for many teams, but best well known for his days with the Mets in the '86 World Series Mets, World Championship Mets. I picked up a couple of his cards with the Indians. Jim Lindemann, a couple of Jerry Brown, former Indian second baseman for several seasons. Sean Bosky, another he was a former Philly as well, and good relief. I mean, good pitcher for a while, not great but solid. Dave Fleming, former American League Rookie of the Year. He's a very good TTMer. Here's one of my favorites. I picked up 3 cards in this lot of Charlie Huff. Great signer, won over 200 games in his career, longtime Dodger in the 70s and Ranger in the 80s, and he finished up his career with the Florida Marlins after pitching briefly for the Chicago White Sox in the 90s. One of my favorite players when I was younger, Ron Gant, picked up a couple of his. He's a great signer. My favorite Indian of all time, Corey Snyder. Boy, he was a stud when I was young, when I was a kid. Corey Snyder. Loved him. Doug Thist, another former member of the '86 Mets World Series champions. He's a great signer. That was at the end of his career when he was with the Orioles. Billy Ashley, I love this card. This guy was a former top prospect, big time power hitter coming up through the minors. He never worked out in the majors, but this is a beautiful rookie card of his, coming attractions, and I can just see if he could sign that in blue Sharpie down here right above his name. Oh, I'd love that on that card. And then the last, Juan Gonzalez, former Major League All Star. This guy was a big time slugger in the '90s. Everybody that followed baseball knew who this guy was in the '90s. Big time power hitter. He's a great TTM signer. He signs for free, and it might take you a couple of months to get him back, but he signs for free. He's a great guy. And anyway, that's this lot, guys. So anyway, I know for some of you more experienced collectors out there, you're probably going to be like, boring, whatever. But if you're into TTMs, whether you're a long-time TTMer or just getting started, this is a great lot for you. And I also want to just give you an idea in this lot of the value you can really get from pick any 50 card lot. You never know until you look into it, you don't know what a seller has got listed. A lot of these dealers on eBay it's just going to be pure commons. But when you can find, sometimes you come across, like I got that Jim Tomei First Indians card. I got all these Topps Gold cards, well worth 9 cents a piece, and I got all these Hall of Famer cards here, all of which at 3 Nolan runs. You can't go wrong at 9 cents a card. Then that's the price, including if I include shipping, I got about 9 cents a card in them. Great way to invest for the future if you're looking to put up cards for your kids to resell one day, or even for you to resell when you're an old guy. So anyway, I hope you liked the video. I'm going to be doing more videos on a regular basis on my channel again, something I haven't done since the since COVID outbreak. And I'm going to be mainly you'll be seeing a lot more TTM videos than anything, but I hope you like this. Stay tuned for more, and I'll share more tips on things on things I do to build my collection. And I'll be sharing pickups that I get along the way to add to my PC, as well as to flip and resell. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day.